here we go with another matchup between Jiro's supercomputer and Majin Buu. This Majin Buu deck has been out a while now and it hasn't had much play, along with being one of the weaker colours of the format. Green hasn't had too much of a say in the meta, but we will see if this Majin Buu deck is being overlooked as a possible meta contender. As you can see, it starts off by immediately bringing out a 4-drop Majin Buu and adding a unison from deck to hand. That will then set up Green to have access to the likes of Charismatic Villain. Zero Supercomputer will go to rest mode. It doesn't attack, it goes to rest mode, and it allows itself to add an Android from deck to hand. He adds Android 13 1-drop. He taps 1, and that will allow him to search out the Android 14 Mechanical Assailant. He needs both on board to be able to awaken, and you can see he mistimes his awakening and now brings out the Mechanical Assailant. He did it in the wrong order, but now it's correct. Now swing with the leader. The difference with Android 13 as the other leaders is that he untaps himself when he awakens and untaps an energy rather than drawing. So in some ways it can be kind of handy. It's an interesting way to build a leader, definitely unique. And that adds the green Android 13 and 14 to hand. This card, if your 13 is your leader, if you've awakened, you can just put that into your drop and draw card. And the beauty is now that 14 or 15 can then be used in the boss monster, because the boss monster requires a 14 or 15, 14 and 15 to be underneath to be able to play him. So just having a card that can count as either is a huge bonus in setting up your future plays with the Android 13 deck. We're seeing the unison is out with two markers on him, and he combos away the 13 boss or 13 1-drop and puts him into the Z energy. You can kind of see now that one of the handy parts about having your Z energy built up, not only to Z awaken but to be able to use the double strike plus 5k for the Z leader's ability. So setting that up early can be a bonus. And you've seen a combo out of that. The unison comes out now. This is probably the best red unison since Piccolo Jr. When it comes out, you're able to look at the top 3 cards of your deck and just add 1 red card. So it can be anything. It can be your boss monster, it can be a staple card, it can be a super combo. And then you're able to play 1-drop, which is fantastic for Android 13 because then it allows you to be able to start setting up your plays. You can put out the 1-drop for free of the Android 13 and go into the boss monster, or you can just simply gain advantage by using it to play out the Mechanical Assailants. And if you Z awakened, you can use the leader effect to play Mechanical Assailant draw, and then use the unison's effect +2, and then bring out another Mechanical Assailant and draw again. So it can really add a lot of firepower to the deck. The unison really makes the whole thing come alive. The deck really wouldn't be playable without the unison, in my opinion anyway, or at least at a competitive level. And you can kind of see with Green Buu now, it does really swarm the board with a lot of battle cards. And you can see when it comes out, but now down comes the Pan SCR to stop any super push or massive push, and then he super combos to make sure that he doesn't take any life on this turn. He steals goes to steal the 14 and 15 from the drop, so he can gain dual attack on the leader, I believe. And now he Z awakens. This is a new card, and this is why Majin Buu is a bit more competitively viable after the 5th anniversary edition box came with this Z leader. Kind of an out of nowhere edition, because the Majin Buu deck never really took off competitively, so it was quite a funny one to suddenly see this deck of all decks get a Z leader and obviously nobody's really paid attention to it because we haven't seen too many people playing this deck. But it's an interesting back and forth here. Plenty of cards in hand for the Android 13 player. Get Vegeta Unison is the only thing he has on board, however. You can see, look through the cards. And it's 5 life currently for the 13 player to the 3 life for Buu. He obviously couldn't, he combos away the go on because it wasn't able to be used yet, as you have to have 4 less life, so puts into a Z energy, and you can combo it and tap 1 to put on your Z energy. Out comes the boss monster, and as there's a 14 and a 15 in the dropper, he's able to bring out the boss monster. And now when this attacks, and then he puts the Android 13 card, which is villainous, and if there's a 13 underneath the boss monster, he gains dual attack. He's going to combo away one of the cards in that minus 25k, but the Buu pole is going to come down, which means if Android 13 wants to swing, he will have to discard 2 cards to do so. And the counterplay Gohan's going to come out to minus 20k, and give him a blocker for the next turn. The Android 13 still has dual attack, and obviously now uses the Unison's ability to bring out Mechanical Assailant, and it plays in arrest mode. At the moment, currently checking what to do next. Passing turn. The Buu pulls. It's interesting whether you could have pushed past the Buu pull, because there seems to be quite a few cards in hand and only 3 life left with 2 double strikes on field. But of course, the green player also has a lot of cards in hand, so maybe not the best idea. Uses the Z Leader's effect to eat up the Android 13 boss monster, which is a big blow. And probably one of the big advantages of this deck is the always constant removal. Out comes the testing the opposition. Going to declare a blocker with the Gohan, and he's going to super combo. And that's going to be the end of Gohan. Maybe that was probably worth protecting, but it's kind of hard to tell what's in hand, and he blocks with the other tokens. That's 2 of the blockers gone. He's all tapped out, so it might be free reign of attacks from Buu. But he passes turn, so more than likely with 3 energy active, there's probably another few counterattacks on the way, because with 3 life against a heavy aggro deck, it would be quite a not a good move to not be able to stun your opponent or floodgate your opponent if you have 3 energy open and only 3 life left. Swing with the leader just for the draw, and it combos away the Mechanical Assailant, and there you see an Eradicator come down, and that is going to take 1 out of the Android 13 player's hand, which is a huge bonus to Majin Buu. It's just being able to rip cards out of your opponent's hand. But he's going to go in for a swing with the Z Battle card SSB Vegeta. This is a very strong removal, 1500, and then if you have 4, and there comes another Buu pull down, another floodgate, and that's going to make it more difficult to go for the finish here. Of course that negates and then plays. It's slightly different than Topo, where Beerus Ball wouldn't work on Buu because the floodgate happens in the negate, and it doesn't happen when it's played. That's how I believe it works. But he's going to push for it. He's going to tap out to bring out another Gogeta to try and add a card to hand, adding the 13. Plays in the rest mode and allows him to look up the top 5, so just trying to get some cards to hand. That really wasn't the way you'd want it to have gone, but I believe we'll probably pass there. I'm not sure if maybe should have attacked with the Vegeta, but he has 3 life left, so he would have probably discarded 2 cards and gave his opponent 2 more cards. So he starts off the turn by immediately eating the Android 13 card with the Insatiable, so that probably wasn't a good move to use the Gogeta's +2 to play out the 13, because it just ended up being more fodder for the Majin Buu Z leader. And you currently see there it's got 2 tokens of 1500 power, I believe, on field, and 2 swings at the Unison. Out comes the Cooler, and this Cooler is quite frustrating to play against, because when it swings it rips a card out of the opponent's hand, and he used the Spirit Boost negate because I believe it's a double strike, so it would have died regardless, so he just played out the card while he could, because obviously you wouldn't have been able to play it without the Unison. Obviously kind of a pointless move, because that's kind of combo power gone. So that was probably a really silly move to waste a card that could have been used for combo. He passed his turn. He's a huge board on field, so I'm not entirely sure. With 4 life left, he doesn't want to push for it. And not too many cards left in the 13. The Android 13 player's hand. He goes to play this card, but I guess realizes that he doesn't have an Android in hand to discard to be able to use it. It might have been really handy to be able to resolve that, but obviously if you don't have the Android 15 in hand to resolve it, then you can't do that. Plays out the Android 13, taps 1, so it looks like he is going to go in for the boss monster again. This could be, if there's not a floodgate to stop him, it might be the end of the game here, if he has the Android 13 Villainous in hand. That's going to add an extra 10k, and then it's going to add, or that's a combo of 40k, and then the Trunks Deluge of Power will add 5000 power for the rest of the thing. So he super comboed his way out of it. Now he's singing for the second swing. That's a 30k because of the Trunks. So he's swinging double strike at the lead. Super combo again. Now what's interesting is the Android 13 player, aside from the Dr. Giro super combo, he hasn't actually played a single super combo since, and I believe the Buu player has used 3, if not maybe 4 super combos, and the Shocking Death Ball removes the Vegeta from the game, so that was kind of that plan ruined. But he does get the combo and use the removal, but he's not in a great position here. A couple of misplays, but obviously the Majin Buu player just kind of sitting back and not really being too interactive and just ripping cards away slowly but surely, doing what Green does best and just focuses on hand ripping as opposed to trying to really go step hit for hit, blow for blow with your opponent. Majin Buu, leader swing, and now Android 13 is down to 2 life, and now that there's pretty much no hand, he's just ripping cards away one by one, and he's going to Z Awaken, but I don't think this is going to result in much, because as you can see there's 1 card in hand. He's going to get the extra 20k, go to 25k, but there's just too much pressure on board, and Majin Buu wins. If you liked the video, please remember to like, share and subscribe.